Okay, so hello everyone. Myself, Dr. Aparna Kant, as Rituraj already introduced me, and I'm back again to recollect my memories of PhD journey. It was indeed a long time. 7 years was a roller coaster ride, and I'm feeling equally nostalgic to give this exit seminar as I was feeling when I gave it the first time as my last presentation. So, beginning with talking about what PhD is all about. Your entire journey of PhD will keep revolving around what are the lackings, what are your findings, celebrating your small achievements, and more than that, learnings from your failures. Many a times it will happen that while you're trying to fill the lacunae, someone might already be there who will fill that gap, and you have to again search for another lacunae. So it's always better to be ready with alternative plans so that you do not feel shattered. It happened with me. uh, I was not ready for the plan B when I was in my PhD. It happened in the initial 2 years only. So I would say whenever you are working on the lackings to decide your findings, what would be your findings, do come up with 2 to 3 major objectives so that you never fall short of work. Now, moving on to the stages of PhD. PhD has several stages, and you can totally relate it with these stages of a kid growing from its childhood to the adulthood. I have divided this into 4 stages. Now, think of a kid, which is quite relatable to your pre PhD stage. It is the time where you are very flexible to be groomed in any direction, and it is the most innocent and supple stage. Here you are mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared to go for PhD. You have to decide your motive. You have to know the reason why you want to go for PhD. So that is that stage where you need to be prepared in all ways to before going for PhD. And once you enter PhD, that is your teenage, where you can consider it at the as the 0 year to 3 years of your PhD. It is the time where you will do mistakes, you will fall, you will learn, you will start again, you will cry, you will be happy, you will regret, you will repent. It is the most difficult stage, yet it is most entertaining as well, because you have this thought somewhere in your mind that it's just a start and you have a long way to go. So these thoughts will be very frequent, yet it will be easy to overcome as well. After those 3 years, when your teenage is being completed, that there comes your young adult age where you're all set to keep going. So here you will be expected to do least mistakes. You will start feeling responsibilities over yourself. You will feel that pressure coming from both professional life and personal level as well. It's a very common statement that you get to hear from your parents or your relatives if you're not from this background. It's been 3 years, so next year you might be getting graduated, because they could not think of that study is going on even after 4 years, because they could only think of at a max 4 years, which is the BTech level. So they could not think of years more than that. But that's not the case in PhD. So by this time, your supervisor has also started grooming other students, because he has already shaped you into your best, and you are all here to deliver your best outputs after these 5 years are completed. Now, when you enter the fifth year, here comes the final stage, and that is your adulthood. It's high time now. You can categorize yourself as per the years you have crossed in your PhD. So now people look up to you for the kind of work you have done, for the way you have worked, and no one expects you to work now. Not even you yourself start thinking like it's been 5 years you have been working. Now you don't expect yourself also to work. It's the time everyone starts looking up for your submissions. You also start expecting certain appreciation, some good news from your journals. It's like fifth year now, it's like time to wrap up, some good motivations to still keep going. And this, it is again an important stage, because it's been 5 years and you are all drained. mentally, physically, and emotionally, you have been drained, and still you have to keep going without leaving that enthu, without leaving that energy. In fact, you have to be the strongest at this stage out of all stages, because every day is like the hardest survival you feel. But believe me, once your defense is done, you will find everything was all worth it. Now, after having this discussion of all these stages, I think it is very good for you to relate why these are the prerequisites to go for PhD. Because you have to be physically, mentally, and emotionally prepared, because neither the duration, nor the content, nor the goals, neither the path, nothing is certain. Living with so many of uncertainties is again another challenge. PhD is never about intelligence, not it's not just about intelligence. An average going student can also be through. All you need is a lot of patience and calmness, because you should know how to deal with everything and everyone around. So the major thing that is required doing PhD is the patience and calmness. Apart from intelligence, it's not the major thing. So now another important question is, after knowing all of this, why to go for PhD? That's an important question. That has to be the first question. Why you want to go for PhD? So keep questioning this for yourself and keep answering also, and categorize yourself amongst these. So reason could be any. Amongst these reasons, nothing is wrong or right. It is whatever could be the reason, just do justice to it and fulfill the respective motives that you have come here for. Reason could be any. You could come here for looking good job opportunities after PhD. You can come here with the reason of being self-dependent, monetary balance you get. What could be better than someone is paying you for getting for studying? It's like not just studying, it's like you being paid for studying. Another reason could be as prestige or peer pressure. You are being an IITian now. Another could be, yes, the academic network, the platform you get here. Sorry, the academic network you can build here, because the exposure you get here via conferences, via webinars, you get to build a lot of academic network. And another is knowledge. You can be here to gather knowledge. Now, moving on to, apart from all these four categories, I don't think there could be any other reason that you could be here for. So, now this is another important thing, that is an urge to learn. It could be technical learnings, learning from your failures, or in terms of personality development. Because if you target any materialistic gain, you might sometime end up with a disappointment, lot of disappointment, because like after completing your PhD, like you might not immediately get the kind of job you're looking for. Maybe you are here for some other reason as well, so let me bring up that reason also. You might not be married to the kind of person you are looking for, because it's sad to say, but yes, it's a harsh truth. PhD guys are not considered settled until they are a professor in some good institute. So be happy with the learnings and achievements you have from here, because they are your true assets. Like write as many publications as you can being here at IIT. Write as many projects, get to work the amount of quality work that you can do at being at IIT. Do that, because acknowledge the environment you are given. Because after getting away from here, after leaving this IIT, it is really impossible to deliver the kind of content that you can create being at IIT. It's really difficult being at home or working with an industry or working somewhere else. It's really difficult to get this environment and give such good deliverables that you can do as till the time you are there at IIT and PhD. So do not target such materialistic gain. You will get it definitely, but do not keep it as a target. So, yes, this is another important key which you should always keep in mind. It is your PhD. You need not to impress your supervisor or any other faculty or SRC members or students or junior or any other girl or boy. You did not impress anyone by your work or PhD. You have to convince yourself. Convince yourself with your deliverables. If you yourself are convinced, no one can stop you from getting this degree gracefully. So, apart from that, like I said, if you have the passion and motive, like all impossible will become I am possible. So, I have an example of the movie Maji. It's a true story of a man. You might have all watched this movie, casting Nawazuddin Siddiqui as Dashrath, and he broke a mountain for love. So motivation could be anything. It could be love, it could be hatred, it could be competition, it could be any. Motivation could be any, but there has to be a passion, there has to be a motivation. This movie has taught us a lot of lessons. I would like to highlight five. Like, first is you need not to give up, never give up attitude has to be there. Second is take life as it comes. Do not keep complaining about it. Take life as it comes. Gracefully, you have to take how it comes, whether it comes with a failure, whether it comes with a success, whatever it is, take life as it comes. Third is appreciate the little things in life. Do not keep crying for whatever you don't have. Start celebrating your small achievements, whatever you have. So appreciate the little things in life. Fourth is have a sense of humor. Maybe you're not good at that. Have a good company, good friends. I have, I had many, and few are here only. So it had helped me a lot. It's like a blessing. Good friends, good company is a blessing. It can turn all your failures, sadness, disappointments. You can get out of it very easily if you have a good company around you. So this is very important. Next is never shy away from trying things, because PhD is itself a platform where you will get to learn new things. Come out of your comfort zone. Do not think that up till now I have been doing this and I will continue doing this. This way, you're not going to learn anything new. There will not be any personality development in yourself. So never try to shy away from trying new things. These are few of the lessons that I have shared from this movie, and they are very helpful for our PhD journey, your PhD journey. So now let's talk about the levels that you cross during your PhD. So first is the supervisor selection. It could be other way also. It could be student selection as well from supervisor point of view. But since I'm here to talk about the student point of view, so yes, it's supervisor selection. What you should keep in mind while selecting your supervisor? What are the things that you should look upon? First is supervisor should not be the one who is always boasting you about your achievements. You should keep discussing in detail about your failures because they are your major learnings. You cannot, you know, just look up, avoid your failures. They are your major lessons. So both needs to be, achievements needs to be celebrated equally, failures needs to be discussed so that they're not repeated in your near life. Second is your liberty to work, but yes, at the same time, you are not supposed to misuse that liberty. Liberty to work should mean like there are few professors who want to see you not at 9, your cabin should be open. At 12 midnight, your cabin is closed. They are not bothered about, like, for those entire duration, what you're doing inside the cabin. You might be playing PUBG or some game or anything. So it should not be that way. You can work effectively working in less hours. It's not about spending hours and hours, but yes, the effective hours. Effectively, how many hours you have worked, that matters. Third is about the problems. You have definitely, when you are in PhD, you have a lot of problems, uncountable problems you have. But what you need is you need somebody to discuss the solutions with. Who can be that person? That person could be your supervisor. Fourth is there is a thin line between demotivation and being a critic. You should have a clear differentiation between both. Your supervisor cannot praise you every time. If there is some disappointment with your work, he has to be a critic. He has to be a good critic. I understand that he cannot demotivate you, but you have to take those criticism gracefully. Then only you're going to work upon that. Lastly is the comfort zone. Equally, that supervisor also should feel comfortable while working with you, and you as a student should also feel comfortable while working with you. And I think when I am giving presentation in this research group, I think this selection is already apt. So we need not to discuss more on this. You're already in good and safe hands. Second is when you have to decide the domain in which you want to work, the problem you want to find solutions to, and the final topic that you want to decide to work on. That's a mere cradle period, you would say, but yet it is very important because this is the time where you're going to decide your entire journey will be dependent on this topic. Your path is going to be decided on the topic that you have decided. Next is the when you have decided the topic, then you have to think of the solution that you will be working on to find out the solution to that problem and the path you will be following to reach that target solution. At that time, you have to think like a buyer because that buyer's perspective is important because that time you have to think of minimum loopholes and draw out maximum scope of usage. So that way you have to think like a from a buyer's perspective. Now once you have done with the topic, you are done with the target solution also, you have decided the path also, and you have attained the target also. Now is the knowledge enough? You have attained everything, but you have to be a good salesperson because when everything is done, you have to be you are worth of everything, but now you should know how to sell that worth in best possible price. That's where your job opportunities, your potential job opportunities are waiting for. So if you are good with everything, still you are not able to get land up at a good job opportunities, that means you are not a good salesperson, that you are not able to sell your capabilities in the right hands at the right place at the right price. So these are the levels of PhD. Now talking about the important characteristics. Yes, these things are very important. Please be shameless. It is okay if you don't know anything. It is okay if you're learning from juniors. It's okay if you're being criticized. So be shameless on that. You need not to feel ashamed of all these things because this is needed. This is actually needed. Other thing is never give up attitude that I told you previously also. And lastly, it is the acceptance. You have to have that acceptance attitude towards your failures and rejection. You might be a gold medalist, you might be a topper at your school level, college level, but still you have to face failures or rejections here because whenever you submit your paper in some publication for publication, do you mention that I am a gold medalist? You do not give your profile to them. It's a new domain for you. It's for you, for them, the journal people, they all are equal. They are not differentiating based on who's the gold medalist, who's the topper, who is having more capability or potential. So it's like acceptance is the major key. Yes, you should be having that attitude of accepting your failures and rejections. And lastly, I will be happy to share my mantras, and they are really important. I have had great time using these mantras. First thing is never stop enjoying. It's like, yes, you are into PhD, but PhD is not a synonym of depression, sadness, and every negative thing. You should never stop enjoying your own life. Second is find time for your personal life. Yes, find time for your personal life. If you are a sports person, find time for your sports. If you have a family, wife, girlfriend, friends, find time for each and everything because that is going to stay with you. If you are into PhD, you are going to get the degree anyhow. but don't spoil yourself as a personality and your personal life because of PhD. Third is the personality growth over your academic growth. Always give preference. Yes, academic growth is important. That is anyhow you are here for. But what you sideline while going after the academic growth is your personality growth. That is equally important. So don't sideline it. Fourth is, like I said, good friends. That's the blessing. That's the best thing you can have during your college life, because you're going to miss that the most once you go uh, away from your college life. Fifth is your mental health. Yes, once you are going to keep enjoying things, have time for your personal life, have good friends, definitely you are going not going to hamper your mental health. This is like definitely go hand in hand with all the other four things. And the lastly is the willingness to new changes. That is, you are here in PhD to try out new things. So yes, definitely you have to have that acceptance that you are here for new changes in yourself as a personality and as far as academics is considered and many other things. So try these mantras and go ahead in your PhD. You are going to have a good time and enjoy your PhD life. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Panda, for such a lovely talk. I know you were not healthy last week, but still you said yes and you delivered your lecture. We really appreciate that. Like I mentioned, we don't want to take you for granted, even though you are our alumni. We'll make sure when you come back to IIT Roorkee, we'll show you our gratitude. So it was such a lovely talk, and we really appreciate you walking us through your journey of PhD.